Okay, good morning, everyone, and thank you for being here. I hope that by the end of my talk, if you would remember any three keywords, it would be stakeholders co-producing a workplace-based assessment program through a change laboratory. The why, how, what is what I will be discussing in the next few minutes. So the title of my presentation, or the project, the PhD project, is the design of workplace-based assessments in postgraduate medical education, use of a co-production model to involve all stakeholders. Just to give you a little bit of my background, I work at the Oman Medical Specialty Board in Oman. What we do is we run, develop, and monitor residency training programs in the country. We've got 18 residency training programs currently, and we are in the process of developing 7 more fellowship programs. A lot of our assessments are workplace-based assessments in addition to other performance-based assessments as well. So we're mainly focused on basically residency training. I'd like to thank my supervisors who have helped me in the past 6 months to really develop my research idea since we started the program in October. So Marianne and Sylvia, thank you very much for all of this help. So I'd start first with talking about workplace-based assessments. As many of you already know, mostly workplace-based assessments were basically designed to assess residents or even students in the real life situations. And the idea is to have as many assessments within multiple situations, multiple settings, using multiple tools, and also having the views of multiple raters. This would help getting an overview of what the real life situation is and give a better overall idea of the performance of students or even residents in the workplace. That is the ideal situation. However, what we know in the literature so far, there are some issues with the implementation of workplace-based assessments. And there is some criticism about how it should be working and whether they are really achieving their intended goals. Some research has demonstrated factors that are related to, for example, attitudes of the different stakeholders towards these workplace-based assessments, their actual perceptions, and basically how their perceptions would affect their implementation of these assessments. There is some negativity towards workplace-based assessments and also the engagement of either the residents or the faculty with these assessments within the workplace. A lot of times we do hear that it is used as a checkbox exercise, for example, although that is not the intended purpose. And so this is why one of the reasons that we would like to look further into this. And when we dig in, we could see that sometimes it could be that the stakeholders have a role. So the success of workplace-based assessments should be, really depends on its implementation. And when you really dig in, the implementation is usually done by the stakeholders who are on the floor, who are not necessarily the people who have designed these assessment programs. So a lot of times this is what we see, a top-down approach. So you've got a group of educationalists who design the workplace-based assessments based on theories, based on very well-determined facts. However, once it's implemented, it's usually done by a different group, and there's a lack of stakeholder engagement there, and that link is missing. So they argue the saying is, if you build it, they will come, and this is a picture from Oman. And my argument is, yes, if you build it, they will come, or do they really come? And maybe we need to look further into that. So the aim of this research is to explore the impact of co-production on stakeholder engagement, on the redesign of workplace-based assessment programs, and the implementation in residency training programs. So if we look at stakeholder engagement, within an assessment program, there are multiple stakeholders, there are multiple factors that come into play to make workplace-based assessments basically active and effective. As you can see from this very busy diagram, there are multiple arrows, multiple people who are involved, and the ingredients for stakeholder engagement could be as previously researched, for example, the negativity, the engagement, the relatedness to these issues, the autonomy, the sense of empowerment, and so on. And this is what we would like to look into further. So now we say, if you build it, they will come, but if you include them thoughtfully. And based on that, back to the research aim, the whole idea is basically to get something similar to the student-staff relationship, but a little bit more than that, to get students or residents, your faculty, as well as the educationalists or the designers to come together and redesign or rethink about the workplace-based assessment programs and come up with most probably, hopefully, better ways of designing these programs to work best for the situation. This is just briefly what the research questions would address. So how do stakeholders employ and develop the process of the redesign of workplace-based assessments? And then after that, we would like to measure the participating stakeholders' views on the impact. In addition to that, we will also have a different group of residents who would be joining who have not experienced the redesign. And so we would like to see their views about this newly redesigned program. And then we would also like to measure the impact of the newly co-produced workplace-based assessment program on the stakeholders' perceptions, as well as the impact on the redesign. And so we're hoping to do a mixed method study here where we would measure the perceptions of the assessment environment and then also some qualitative study to support that. So if I'm ready to take any questions, and if you have any other ideas or you would like to discuss this further, please feel free to contact me at any time. Thank you for listening.